Hey guys, Scott Franklin here from Scott Franklin Performance Coaching. I help people live awesome lives with no regrets. So today I want to talk to you all about distrust. So the concept of distrust, particularly when it comes to relationships and mostly in intimate relationships. So what happens at one point of our life, we get into a relationship where the other person may do something that breaks our trust, right? And when that happens, it pushes our buttons. And when the button gets pushed, it pushes the button of a negative emotion. So you may feel distrust, betrayed, anger, rage, resentment, pissed off, hurt, heartbroken, gutted, etc., etc. So the list of the negative emotions all linked to the buttons they get pushed. Now, when the buttons get pushed, it creates that negative emotion. Negative emotions vibrate on a low and heavy level, right? And that vibration is like a magnet. So what it does is it attracts more people, more places and more situations into your life that will continually push those same buttons, but maybe in a different form. So you may have experienced distrust in an intimate relationship, but then you may start getting distrust in friendships or at work, right? And the reason is because of this vibration, this low, heavy vibration, but again, we can't see it. So it's hard to test it and measure it. So normal science would have a hard time explaining how that phenomenon happens, but we've all experienced it at one point or another. So what we need to do to stop recreating moments of distrust in our life, the very first thing we need to do, there's actually three steps to this process. The first part we need to do is use my resilience techniques to switch off and release the negative emotions and the negative buttons that have been pushed. That's the first thing you need to do. When you switch off a button for the negative emotion, or you switch off the negative emotion, at the same time it switches on a positive emotion. Now, positive emotions vibrate on a higher light level, right? And they attract higher quality people, places, and situations into your life. So just by switching off the negative emotions and buttons will bring your vibration from low up to from a low heavy level up to a higher lighter area. Now at that, again, it's still a magnet. The vibration is always a magnet. When you're vibrating at a higher level, you attract, like I said, better quality people, better quality situations into your life. So just by releasing alone can cause a huge shift and change into your life. Now, the second concept that you need to do, once you've released all these buttons, you then need to learn how to reconnect to your authentic self. So the authentic self, like I've talked about before, is your heart, or it's your gut instincts. It's that part of us that's never wrong, and it's got your map for life. It knows how to make all decisions for you in life and will always make you a correct decision, and it's like a truth serum. So if you're unsure whether you can trust someone or not, all you need to do is ask your authentic self, your heart, and it'll tell you. It'll tell you if you can trust someone, right? Rather than trying to figure it out in your head. The ego is always going to lead you to negativity, chaos, and drama. So while you're trying to psychoanalyze or figure out another person in your head, your heart's already got the answer. So you can just skip that whole step there, which is going to lead you to a wrong answer at some point anyway, and just go straight to the authentic self. There's certain exercises and techniques that I can teach you as part of my coaching that will connect you to the authentic self. It will teach you how to communicate with it. Because once you're in constant communication with it, it'll start to give you truth. It'll start to make correct decisions for you, and it will reconnect you to your purpose. Now, once you're reconnected to your purpose, is going to be your ideal partners, your ideal friends, and all the people who you're meant to connect with along your life's purpose are all waiting on that path for you. They're not on the path of the ego, right? So that's why it's super important that you learn how to connect to the authentic self. Now, the third concept that you need to learn is the third part of my coaching, is about setting goals that link to your values in the 7 domains of life. So, for example, a value, when your values are met, it lights you up on the inside, and when your values aren't met, it pushes your buttons. And the way to figure out the values, it's first of all, think of what you want. So what do I like in my ideal partner? That's the first part you need to figure out. They're what your values are, and they'll just roll off the top of your head. Now, the second part is the core values. So those ones are hidden. So you need to know how to find these hidden core values, which will then link you to exactly what you truly are looking for. And once you link to the core values, it brings that vibration up to that higher level again. So basically what you're doing is you're creating a list of your ideal partner. So what their personality is like, what they look like, and what type of person they are in a relationship. So there's 3 pillars that you want to assess. So once you know them values, then you set the goal on top of that. Right, so most people know their goals. I want to find my ideal partner, and the places you want to go together, the things you want to do together, the experiences you want to have, etc., etc. Most people know their goals, but what they're skipping is the values. Now, a goal without value is purposeless. It doesn't, you're missing the fulfillment. You're missing the part that lights that goal up inside. So it's super important to do that. The other reason that it's important to set goals in these 7 areas of life is because if you've only got goals in 2 or 3 areas, which most people do, your life becomes unbalanced. And when your life's unbalanced, that affects your vibration. It brings it down to a lower level, because when you're unbalanced, it's going to create negativity. It's going to catch up with you somewhere. So having goals in them 7 areas keeps you nice and healthy, nice and balanced, nice and happy. Because basically what we're aiming for, we're aiming to get you to be the best version of yourself. We want to create a bubble, like where you're the captain of your world. You're in charge of your bubble. Who comes in, who's out, and the kind of things that you want to do. It's your world, right? So we want to create this as best as possible. When your world is best as possible, not only do you enjoy your own company more and the people who you choose it to be in there of better quality, but when your ideal partner does come along, it's magnetized to draw them into it, because you're a match, right? It's a soul connection. It's showing them exactly what they want. So you want to start to create and build a life that's going to be magnetic to attract the right kind of partner into your life. And that can work in any sense, whether it be intimate relationship, in business, in friendships, any type of relationship. You just need, the closer you are to your authentic self and living your authentic life, whether your authentic business life, authentic home life, authentic friendships, the more you're connected to that, then when people turn up who are actually part of your life's purpose, it's just easy and effortless. So that's what you want to aim to do. Okay, so let's recap what you need to do. Step 1, use my resilience techniques to release the negative emotions and the buttons that have been pushed by the person that's created the distrust. If you don't do that, those negative buttons that have been pushed, that's called baggage, right? And then you bring that into the next relationship. And then we project it. We project it onto the next person. We bring up all the things that all the past people have done to us, and then we project it onto the next person, even though they haven't done anything wrong yet. Right? So that's so important, is to release the negative emotions and buttons that link to all the baggage, because what it does, it sets the baggage free, it lets go. A lot of people talk about letting go, but I doubt whether they're truly doing it properly unless they're using a resilience technique, same as mine or similar to mine, that lets go of it on the energetic, emotional, spiritual level, lets go of it on all levels. It actually leaves your system, rather than just saying you've let go of it and trying not to think about it and distract yourself. That's not letting go, guys. Letting go is doing it on the deepest level possible. So we get that done. The second step, connect to your authentic self. It's got your map for life. It's got all your answers to your ideal partner, your ideal career, your ideal lifestyle. It's a truth serum. So if you want to know if you can trust someone or not, it will tell you, right? Whereas the ego in your head will try and it's going to lead you to negativity, chaos, and drama. So part of the step 1 in releasing the negative emotions, that also switches off that voice in your head. So therefore, it's not feeding you incorrect answers. So step 2 is we connect to the authentic self. And then step 3, we set goals in the 7 domains of life that link to your values. The values are what makes you feel good. And then we set the goal on top of that. And then we do that in all 7 areas. So it creates a nice, balanced, happy, healthy life filled with contentment, fulfillment, etc., etc. Yep, so that's the plan, guys. If you want to move past distrust and live a more authentic life with authentic relationships in there, that's the process I'd be following.